said that stripping out Russia, tobacco volumes declined by 6.8% globally during the period. Greggs has credited new store openings and an expansion of its pizza offering for a strong start to the year. The UK's biggest bakery chain said today that total sales in the 19 weeks to last Saturday came in at £609 million. That was up 23% on the same period a year ago. Well, Greggs opened 63 new shops during the period and closed 26. On a like-for-like basis, which is the measure that strips out new store openings or refurbishments, sales were up 17.1%. The company said, though, that was flattered by comparisons with last year when there was an impact from the Omicron variant of COVID. Well, last night's positive finish on Wall Street was followed by mixed trading overnight again in the Asia-Pacific region. The Nikkei in Tokyo was again the star performer, up 0.75%. Meanwhile, the broader Topix index in Japan has hit its highest level today since August 1990. Well, in Europe, trading has been decidedly mixed this morning. You can see most of the main continental European indices are in positive territory, but there are a few features for investors to get stuck into this morning. Here in London, the FTSE 100 also in positive territory, albeit just by 0.1% or so, thanks mainly to gains for consumer stocks. The leading blue chip gainer this morning is Rolls-Royce. The shares are up some 3.5% nearly on the back of supportive broker comment. Another positive one in the index this morning, Smiths Group. We had the CEO on the programme fairly recently. The shares up there, 2% again. That's down to broker comment. On the downside, Vodafone is currently off by nearly 4.25% right now on its results. Outside the FTSE 100, the online fashion retailer Boohoo is ahead by nearly 12% after a positive trading update. That's dragged up ASOS, which is up some 5% in sympathy. On the downside, the IT services provider FDM Group, its shares off 4.25% on a trading update, while the pub operator Marston's, it's down by 2% right now. That's despite it reducing its half-year losses. On the foreign exchange markets, well, sterling dropped briefly after the jobs data was published. As you can see, it's more or less unchanged right now against the US dollar. It's off 0.1% against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, ahead by nearly 1/5% against the greenback. As for the oil price, well, that rallied last night after 3 days of consecutive falls amid news that the US is planning to replenish its strategic reserves. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $75.38 a barrel. That's up 1/5%. Joining me this morning is Simon Lapthorne, Senior Equity Analyst at Investec. Well, Simon, good to see you this morning. Vodafone is one very close to your heart. A lot to go into there. Yes. What are the standout for you?
Well, I think there are two principal drivers behind the share price movement this morning. First is the results themselves were a little underwhelming. I mean, they were a mixed bag. They were ahead on revenues, a little behind on EBITDA, ahead on cash flow. The guidance for the current year, a little bit light compared with consensus forecasts, particularly on cash flow, which is driven by a particular working capital issue in Germany. But the other thing, I think, is that a lot of investors had been hoping and expecting a much more radical programme for change at Vodafone than has been announced this morning.
Yeah, so 11,000 job cuts, not really cutting it for you in terms of...
So, to be clear, that's 11,000 people's livelihoods, and we have a great deal of sympathy over that. And that's about 11-12% of the total workforce, and that's going to be across the operations in all the countries in which Vodafone is active, and also the headquarters. But in the overall scheme of things, I think investors were looking for much more radical action in terms of the portfolio. Historically, Vodafone's capital has been spread too thinly, frankly, and the return on capital equation has been too much capital, not enough return. And a way to improve that would be to slim the business down and be much more deeply invested in a fewer number of markets. And we've seen no real evidence of that as a strategy this morning, with the exception of Spain, which is now under strategic review.
Yes. I mean, you're never going to get radical change, though, when you promote the finance director to being CEO.
Well, I think that was exactly one of the concerns when that transition occurred, and Vodafone has a long track record of promoting from within. The sort of glass half full interpretation of that is if they did decide to do something, having an insider take the job would probably mean that something could happen quicker than if you appointed somebody from outside who would take probably several months to review all of the possible options and reach their conclusions. But if nothing's going to happen anyway, that's scant consolation, really. So I think there's a little bit of disappointment. We're seeing more of the same, things that should be business as usual in terms of running the business, but we're going to do it better. But we've heard quite a lot of it before, to be honest.
Nick Reed, the old CEO, said a lot of that, didn't he?
He did, and he set out this agenda for portfolio rationalisation, and nothing really happened. A couple of potential deals came and went, one in Spain, one in Italy. That's not to say they weren't right to not do those deals, but having set that expectation, you do rather set yourself up to disappoint if nothing then happens.
How much of this is actually Vodafone management's fault, though? I mean, they're in a lot of markets in continental Europe which are very, very aggressively regulated. I mean, how do you move the dial on?
So I think there are two. Part of it is Vodafone's strategic decision-making in the past. It was an even more diverse business than it is now at one point, and they have slimmed it down. They've got rid of the business in the US, they've got rid of Japan, a number of other markets. It is slimmer, focused on Europe and sub-Saharan Africa, but it could go further there. But you're absolutely right that the decision to divest the US meant that they were much more focused in Europe, which is, from a regulatory point of view, a much, much tougher market. I think regulators, if they want to see well-invested networks with high speeds and good coverage that you need in the data age, probably have to be a little bit more forgiving in terms of allowing some in-market consolidation. So the UK is really a 4-player market, could do with going to 3, excuse the pun. Yeah. And other markets in Europe they are competitive because the regulator has effectively required them to be competitive, and that is in danger of stifling the investment required to deliver what actually politicians and regulators desire. And they need to strike that balance to protect consumers to an extent as well. So it's a difficult environment.
You say more radicalism is needed. Are we getting to that a point which would have been unthinkable a few years ago? Is it now of a size where a private equity company might look at it and have a go?
Well, it's got 3 strategic shareholders already. At the moment, we have the Emirates Telecoms people with 14.6% who would like to do a deal involving Vodacom, the African business. We have Liberty that has just under 5%, where Vodafone is in a joint venture in the Netherlands. They'd like to do a deal with that. And we have Iliad, which has about 2%, which previously offered a deal to do something in Italy. So I think there is definitely a very strong appetite for change. Whether it comes to something as drastic as somebody trying to buy the whole thing outright, I'm not sure, but I could certainly envisage some kind of breakup scenario developing, which may well involve private equity players.
And Simon, just for clarity's sake, Investec Wealth is a shareholder in Vodafone?
We are a shareholder in Vodafone, yes.
All right, good to see you this morning.
Thanks very much.
Still to come here on Ian King Live. New research suggests many families are already beginning to worry about next winter's fuel bills. Don't go away.
I'm a huge motorbike fan, and since when I was a kid, I was always riding a little moped in countryside in Finland, and then later on, of course, I end up to racing in the cars, ending up to Formula One, and winning a world championship a couple of times. So I never really didn't have opportunity to really explore the motorbike so much. But now later on, of course, I did retire already. 2001, so that's quite a few years ago. So now I had through my friends' connection, the network, I had an opportunity to be part of the company Birds, which are making a electric superbike, and I was fascinated because the technology what they can create, innovation what they have, and the battery technology. And I thought, I want to be part of this. This is going to be amazing. And here I am today in Monaco, opening the shop together with the Birds team, and giving a Monaco the opportunity to have an amazing superbike. We did develop together with my teammate David Coulthard, Paddy Lowe, with the great designers Adrian Newey. We had an incredible team and that time when I was racing Formula One, the regulations were much wider, much more possibilities to do different kind of innovations. So we designed in Formula One two brake pedals. Why two brake pedals? Because we always have some technical issue in the corners with the car. So with the second brake pedal, we were able to balance the car.
Welcome back. Now, the government's energy price guarantee, which caps the amount household energy suppliers can charge per unit of gas or electricity, comes to an end this month, just as, hopefully, temperatures are starting to rise. However, according to research carried out for the boiler maker Worcester Bosch, many of us are already starting to worry about next winter. Well, joining me now is Martin Bridges. He's Director of Technical Services at Worcester Bosch. Martin, welcome to you. Has the energy price guarantee worked, in your opinion?
I think it allayed some fears. I personally am unaware of anybody who stayed below that £2,500 average cap, as it was deemed. But certainly we spoke to hundreds, if not thousands, of consumers over the last 6 months or so, and habits had changed. They were generally interacting with their heating system before the gas bill started to rise. Now they really wanted to know how it actually works and to define the nuances of setting their programmers and their room thermostats. So it focused the mind very much because bills were, doubling, tripling in a lot of instances.
Talk to me a bit more about some of these changes in behaviour that you've seen then.
Particularly, I guess, with silly things almost like wearing warmer clothes. Short sleeves tended to be out, long sleeve shirts, perhaps even jumpers. And even at that point, if you were cold, that's when the heating went on. There were people using secondary heating rather than their primary heating source as well. So just heating the room in which they were living in or occupying at that time. If they were working from home, they may have a small electric heater going in there rather than the entire heating system firing up. There was a lot of advice flying around from the government as well, but from associations like ourselves, advising people to turn the flow temperature down on their boiler. That would make it more efficient. It would make the radiator slightly cooler, but if it was still warm enough to heat your home, then people were doing that and making the boiler condense more. Room thermostat settings, that was a simple one. Knocking that back by perhaps a centigrade was going to contribute. But I think the bigger thing for me was like changing the timing settings on their boilers. So where before it was coming on perhaps at say 6:30 in the morning, going off at 8:30 in the morning, that was now coming on at 7 and going off perhaps at 8. So just reducing the firing times of the boiler by an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, and then seeing how they got on, that was probably the biggest interaction I noticed.
Now, what sort of assumptions are you making about this coming winter? I mean, Goldman Sachs the other day was warning that energy prices could almost treble from their current level to next winter.
Well, it's difficult to tell. I saw something this morning by Cornwall Insights which suggests that the gas bills are going to start to reduce now and into Q3 and Q4 as well come down. They will still be double or treble where we were perhaps 18 months ago, but they won't be as high as they were in the winter we've just left. So it's difficult to know who to believe at the moment.
OK, and Martin, got to leave it there, I'm afraid. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Still to come here on Ian King Live. Why the Indonesian economy could be the one to watch in Asia this year. Stay tuned.
Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging
darkness.
the hole of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We call them London for home. For here, we call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome to Starr Radio UK and to the morning show. Today is the 16th day of May, the year 2023, with the time now 10:43 from the House of London, and it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Once again, let me say welcome to each and every one of you who's tuned in this morning to join us on the program. And again, I sincerely apologize for the technical baits that was going on yesterday during the morning show, but we managed to sort it out temporarily for the program to go on. But hey, today we are here to bring you everything that you need to know, firing on all cylinders, as it's said. But once again, do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Welcome to Star Morning Show. I am the one and only
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay, so if you don't know, now you know. So wherever you are, stay tuned. But let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Mr. Francis Gaye, and Mr. Frank Davis, all the way back in Ghana, who is also monitoring events here right now in London. So wherever you are, once again, we say welcome to the program. From now till 12:30, my apologies, 12:30, because we're having BB Clement on BB Means Business, and we're going to be preparing the grounds for her. It is a mental health week, and we'll be bringing you something on that front. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. But let me say good morning to my bishop himself, Bishop Adeshina Adeyemo. Good morning to you, Anthony Adedeji Olakunle, Pastor Momo. Good morning to you as well. To the one and only Tassino, all the way in Moscow, our special envoy in Moscow, and then to the Felix, all the way in Aberdeen, Kojudi South here in London, and then to Aziz Banasarik. Did I say that? And Samsudin Oladipopo. So wherever you are, guys, welcome to the program. And to all our ladies who listen to us as well, we salute each and every one of you. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 10:45 the time. And let's go on. All protocol observed. If you're first time of tuning in, this is how the program will go. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day. The weather forecast will follow suit. Then the travel updates will continue from there. We'll continue to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as global trotting. Then after that, we'll continue from there. We'll be looking at some of the stories, in-depth stories that is happening in Nigeria. That is updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios, and then we'll continue from then and have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. At 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussion. At 12:30, we bring the curtains down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening. But once again, welcome on board. As I do say all the time, if you are standing, hold on to something. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably, buckle up, and get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and let's take this journey. At times that get bumpy, but be rest assured of one thing: with Archie in the helm, I promise you one thing for sure: I'm going to get you to your destination in peace.
Archie on Starr Radio. Nobody does it better.
All right then. So now let's go straight to the quote for the day. It says, "It is wise to be open to the counsel and suggestions of those who have more experience, even if you don't like their presentation. Now, what they have learned through years of trial and error can save you a lot of time and trouble." And that's why it's important that our old folks, we do listen to them. At times we know that somebody say they are out of touch, but the experiences that they've gained over the period of life that they've been on earth, whether it's in business or a relationship or whatever, name it, you find out that if you pick out from them, listen to them, it will help you a great deal, and you will not make those mistakes that they did make. All right then. So that's by way of the quote for the day. Let's move on straight to the weather front. What has the weather got in stock for us this morning? Well. Some sunny spells are happening here in London and the southeast of England, across the UK as well. This afternoon, patchy cloud will develop from the west, but there will still be sunny spells in between, just the outside chance of light shower. Now this evening we'll see any patchy cloud and showers clear with late sunshine overnight. Will then remain dry and largely clear with just a few patches of cloud drifting in from the west at times. Now when it comes to the temperatures, the temperature is going to be 17 degrees, the lower is going to be 8 degrees, pollen level is going to be low, UV level is going to be high, pollution is going to be low, sunset 20:47 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:08 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you today, Tuesday, the 16th day of May 2023. Why did I say Wednesday? You know what? I'm a Wednesday born, that's why. Yeah. All right then. So now let's move on. I have a special celebration tomorrow. So I'm gearing myself out for that. It's not my birthday though. I just want to celebrate. Whatever. You can join me. Okay. So now let's move on to, let's take a quick commercial break and I'll take you to the travel updates wherever you might be. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep navigated. I promise I'll on the Starr Radio travel update that comes to every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:50, and so it's going to be a sweet one. So stay tuned. Okay, so on your travel this morning, those of you here in London, on the underground, apart from this Elizabeth line that's got severe delays, all the others have got good service, and the severe delays is due to an earlier faulty train at Paddington. London Underground is accepting tickets via reasonable routes. DLR London Tramlink, London Overground, good service there. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads as we keep you navigated. When it comes to the major roads in London this morning, no exceptional delays. So good one there, isn't it? Now moving on straight to the riverbeds this morning, I can tell you shortly, good service throughout. London Cable Car, good service there as well. So we just come to the final segment of the travel update, and that is the National Rail. So on the National Rail, a few incidents here and there. Across country has got minor delays. First haul trains, minor delays. First Transpennine Express, minor delays. Grand Central, minor delays. Great Western Railway, severe delays. Heathrow Express, minor delays. London North Eastern Railway, minor delays. Northern Rail, minor delays. ScotRail, minor delays. Southern, minor delays. Thameslink, minor delays. And Transport for Wales has also got what? Minor delays. So well, as I would say all the time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
This is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time down to 10:53. Let's crack on because we'll be having Mr. Olayomi joining in to bring you the updates from Nigeria. He's lining all the stories that is going to be putting across up, and therefore once he's ready, I'm going to back. These are a few of them that he has been able to post this morning. So wherever you are, don't tag that down whilst we just go on to look at them. Well, no evidence US has placed visa ban on the chair of Nigeria Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, Governor Nyesom Wike, or any of the others. Well, let's hope to see what is going to happen. US, they said there's no evidence about that. And then Nigeria spent 13 trillion on fuel subsidies in 16 years. But Mustafa is saying, we've been talking about means testing, but we'll have time to talk about that because there are some people who have got, can you just imagine those billionaires and all those people who have got loads of money and they are enjoying this fuel subsidy as well. They can afford that. So why don't we get, people like, to help those who are, the lowest of the lowest in the part of the world who have been using public transport, and therefore, when I say public transport, private public ones, okay? So they have to get on the trotro or what do they even call it? And then, so the subsidy goes to them so that the majority of the people, the citizens, will rather be the ones who are going to be enjoying that rather than a blanket subsidizing the fuel and everybody just, and those who have got big 6-cylinder engines are just going on, just driving up and down the convoys and all those things, wasting that. But well, trust was broken during 2023 elections. Okunjo Iwela is also saying there. Those are some of the stories we're going to be looking at. So what trust has been broken? People are thinking that, well, everything went on very well. What did the chairman of the Electoral Commission say in Nigeria? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. So stay tuned. Don't go away. Star Radio UK. Now let's move on straight to some other parts of the world as well to look at some of the stories making the rounds this morning. When it comes to the some more African news, glimmer of hope in African countries, partially or fully abolishing death penalty in 2022 amnesty. Indeed, in authoritarian countries, there is a tendency to use death penalty as a tool of terror on the population. That is in some countries. Well, you look at deterrent and you look at rehabilitation. Our prisons or correctional institutions, are they able to give that out? When you look at the situation of people who go into this prison and they become hardened criminals. And well, death penalty, and they said that, well, maybe using those things at times deter others, but when it's being used to actually rid the country of some people who, because of their state or opposition to maybe government views and stuff like that, they are, and then of course, looking at our judicial system, that is nothing to write home about, where people are, can go bribe justices with goats and sheep and even chicken, and then they'll rule in their favor. What do you think about all those? Comoros to accept migrants voluntarily returning from Mayotte. The latest announcement comes a week after President Emmanuel Macron and his counterpart Azali Assoumani met in Paris to ease the situation. So lots more going to be coming your way from there as well. When it comes to Ghana, hasten slowly with your promises. Political commentators expect to Mahama. That's what they say. They say, well, looking at everything that is happening, hasten slowly. Boko. Be careful about your promises that you're going to make this time around, because people are tired of politicians and their promises. But when I say it here, I say when it comes to Star Radio UK, we promise to deliver on the news that is making the rounds, and we're going to be doing so as well. Okay, now in other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well, Kyiv hit in exceptionally dense missile attack. Well, it's the 8th time Ukraine's capital has been targeted by Russia so far this month. Well, What are their plans? What do they seem or hope or wish to achieve on that front? Maybe bomb them until they come begging. Is that going to happen at all? Or saying that, okay, let's sit, let's talk. Is that what is going to happen? Well, Rudy Giuliani sued over sexual harassment claims. Donald Trump's former lawyer is accused of coercing an ex-employee into sex in a 10 million civil case. Oh my world. Now, 5 men convicted of audacious Dresden jewel heist. In 2019, the gang broke into a museum in Dresden and stole treasures worth 113 million euros. That is 98 million pounds. A report criticizes FBI Trump Russia inquiry. The report looks at how the FBI investigated alleged ties between Russia and the 2016 Trump campaign. Well, so Russia in some way, somehow, or maybe if they played it down, were they highly involved in what happened there? This and a lot more going to be coming your way. Global execution at highest rate for 5 years. Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt carried out 90% of the 883 recorded in 2022. Amnesty International is saying. When it comes to Nigeria as well, Nigeria Major General on trial by court martial narrates how ex-army chief Buratai granted 75% discount to Aisha Buhari's family, other VIPs, to buy houses from army property firm. My goodness. Well, the custodians of the law, they are rather flouting it left, right, and center. Now, what do we do as citizens? Well. Lots more going to be coming your way. Enjoy this tune now, and then we will be back. And it says what? Everlasting to everlasting from Chidera Boache answer, Pastor Chidera, Lady Pastor Chidera Boache answer. Enjoy it. I'll be with you. We'll have Miss Olayomi Koike coming in soon.
From everlasting
the creator who was not created, king who has no successor, flower that never fades. Abba Father, we worship thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come. Oh Lord. We call you Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
Listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Welcome to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Gone now 7 minutes past the top of the hour, and I know I've got the one and only the White Lion himself, Mr. Olayomi Koike, on air now. So let's go to Yomi, and let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners. Good morning to our viewers as well from different parts of the globe, and those that have connected on the sister broadcast. I say welcome once again to the 16th day of May, 2023, as it's just 7 minutes past as we go into some of the news update coming out of Nigeria today.
Yes, how are you doing, and how is the family?
Well, I'm doing very well. The family is doing as great as usual. As the part of UK, England, as the GCSE kicks in, we continue to pray for all the Africans and the non-Africans, the Caribbeans, where the children are, going into the second day of those exams. So, we're grateful. And as I always say, education is the backbone of any family And that has been one of the most cherished things, especially with the Yorubas, when we were in the regional government of the late Obafemi Awolowo. Education was extremely free. And when I say extremely, it was extremely. But today, while I was listening to one of our sister broadcasts in Nigeria, teachers are no longer in the primary school, and that literally means that more students would not be able to get to school. That is the late Obafemi Awolowo there. He wanted education, and that is why today so many Yoruba people, and likewise Hausa, Igbos, and the other tribes are doing extremely well outside the shore of Nigeria. The question again is, when is Nigeria going to get it right to give education to every part of the country? Starr Radio UK, we kickstart that way, and I come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koike, for you. I mean, we have our awards, our children here being educated. Some of us came here, we educated ourselves, some more. But I would say, at a time, somebody would look at the population of the country and say, it was good, we were able to do that. Is it because people who were managing at the time were managing very well? And what has happened after that? And that is the question on the lips of most people. And if we say we want to go on to give free education to everybody, are we able to afford that? So I want to say, yes, we can. Looking at the one-term dissipation of state funds by those in authority, why not? Why not? We'll be able to do that. But what do you think about all that? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Mr. Olayomi Koike bringing you updates from Nigeria. But let's start from the elections. Now, yesterday we were talking about the fact that they were saying that there's been a huge gap between officials of the country and citizens. So there is that division, serious one. And now for the BBC to also come out to say that, look, electoral body INEC government officials changed Tinubu Peter Obi's scores during presidential election, hired questionable individuals. So you look at that and you ask yourself the question, whoa, what exactly is happening there? Yomi.
These elections that have just been concluded, if only we can get to that stage, like what is happening in Turkey. I mean, let's give Turkey as an example. There will be a rerun of the election in Turkey, and the reason for that is, they couldn't come up with a final score. But the difference in Nigeria is that, election has been held since 1999, and you would expect that the government would have perform much better by making sure that when election comes up, we can determine who become the president, the governors, the senators, the House of Reps, without too many hiccups. Nigeria is not different from any other countries around the world. The only difference is that Nigerians expect better, and that is why we're going to be talking about that. The US is now also saying that they've now put up the list, even though the list is not out in the public domain, of those that will be given what they called a visa restriction to US. Is that going to make any changes to the democracy that we are facing in Nigeria today? The headline says, our electoral body, which is INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, government officials, change Tinubu Peter Obi's scores during the presidential election, hired questionable individual to read result. This is now coming from the BBC. Although the opposition parties, especially the PDP and the Labour Party, have rejected and are challenging the outcome in the election petition tribunal, the president-elect Bola Tinubu is due to be inaugurated, in the next less than 14 days from today. But according to investigation by the British Broadcasting Corporation, which is where we pay our tax here, so when they do investigation, it shows that our TV license is also working. On February 25th, the Nigerian presidential election has now found evidence suggesting a lot of the result may have been manipulated. Nobody have come out to defend that yet from the both political party, but we know that even the Labour Party that is crying who was also having result being manipulated in some part of the state, and that goes with PDP. But as usual, they are challenging Tinubu, saying that that result is not as expected. And if I want to just remind us, some of what we saw from Professor, even our children would not be doing such when they are doing their writings. These are some of what the professor were changing during the election. And if you look at what you're seeing in front of you, the question is, how authentic can you put this out to the international community and say this is the score result written in the sheet of paper? Why did we have too many dark areas? It shows that something magical was going on there.
But interestingly, the BBC seemed to be saying that the results, the anomalies that we're talking about in Rivers State, to be particular, or in particular, wasn't one that will actually change the results. So there was some manipulation, yeah, but it wouldn't have changed the results.
Well, I mean, they could say that the one in Rivers State might not change it, but that is the one that they are talking about. I mean, let us remind ourselves that the transmission that was INEC told every Nigerian that they will be transmitting from the polling unit. That never happened, and we saw other areas. So maybe the investigation was focused in Rivers State, and we do know that sometimes the BBC can be a little bit partial. Could it be because Rivers State, where the governor of Wiki saying Wiki is there? Could be because we know that the way the Western media operate, sometimes they put in their resources to investigate something, but they are probably left alone the northern part of Nigeria where there was a lot of manipulation as well, and likewise in the southwest where ballot boxes were burnt down because they were supporting Peter Obi. And that says that the Yorubas in the southwest, especially in Lagos State, said no, we will not tolerate that. And that is something that has a lot of evidence that could have made a bit of difference, even if they are thinking that Rivers State would not have changed anything.
Okay. So collectively, it could have changed lots of things there. Yeah. All right then. Those are some of the that is the results. The results that Olayomi Koiki is displaying behind him. The technical team are displaying behind him there. Tinubu 8.7. And then we have what do you call him? Atiku 6.8, and then we have the Labour Party 6.1, and then we have Kwankwaso coming as 1.4. But looking at that and the fact that there's some speculation going on talking about the US banning some of the some individuals in Nigeria, talking about the chairman of the INEC and some individuals. How true is that?
Well, yeah, that is true. The General Secretary, Anthony Blinken, actually told us yesterday that the U.S. have now put together names of people that have not yet been revealed, so we don't know who is in that particular list. But yesterday, at about 1800 hours, this was released by the United States of America, taking steps to impose the visa restrictions on individuals involved in undermining the democratic process during the Nigerian 2023 election cycle. The United States is committed to supporting and advancing democracy in Nigeria and around the world. Today, I'm announcing that we have taken steps to impose visa restrictions on specific individuals in Nigeria for undermining the democratic process during the Nigerian 2023 general election cycle. A lot of Nigerians wanted to know who are these individuals, but that is not something that the U.S. is ready to tell us, in terms of those names, because, from what they've revealed, no name is underneath. The decision to take steps to impose the visa restriction reflect the continued commitment of the United States to support Nigeria's aspiration to strengthen democracy. I think a lot of Nigerians that are the indigenous are probably just brushing that aside, saying that, we are not Nigerians, this democracy that you're talking about, I've never worked. And we do have from a video that I might probably use tomorrow, where, during the hearings in the Senate in America, America trained, some of those that eventually performed coup, especially in Guinea. General Dumbu was trained by the U.S. Eventually, after 2 weeks, he overthrown the government. And the question is, how many government have the U.S. military supported to overthrow power? So a lot of indigenous people have responded, and some Nigerians as well. Some of the comment coming under it says, Ebuka said, it is nonsense. It makes no difference. Paulian said, thank you. Do more. Do not legitimize an illegitimate government. You wouldn't allow an indicted drug felon to be your president. Also, Peter says, Dear Secretary Blinken, this list must include Musiliu Akinsoya, born 14th March 1975, popularly known as MC Oluomo. Otherwise,
his name is on it. His name, there is a list that I have, and MC Oluomo's name is on it.
Okay, you got a list where his name is on it.
Yeah.
So this one says, kindly publish their name. Doing so will serve as a deterrent next time. So I am so happy to hear, this is coming from somebody else who says, I am so happy to hear that you have taken this step. Citizens of Nigeria will appreciate it if the list is made public.
Okay, some of the list. So let me just mention a few of the names that I've got. Maybe I don't know how true that is, but that is a list that have been sent in. It says Mahmoud Yakubu, that's the chairman. Mahmoud Yakubu, the governor of Rivers State. Nyasum Wike, that's Mahmoud Yakubu is the INEC chairman. Nyasum Wike, and former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani Kayode, and then Ayodele Fayose, and the chairperson of the Lagos Parks and Garages Management Committee, that is MC Oluomo. They were, and then so a few of them there. But how true is that? We're not very sure.
Well, I won't buy into those names, because we do know that Nigerians are very quick when it comes to putting things together. Remember that the names. When Simon Ekpa was called into question in Finland, Nigerians actually adopted the Finland logo and then put that information out, but the Finland actually quickly came out to debunk that. So we hope the US will be coming out to either verify or debunk these names that are circulating. But as we know, under the US Twitter official handle, there is no name underneath, and that means we will not buy into the names that you've just mentioned. But definitely a lot of Nigerians believe some names should be out there, but the US under Secretary Anthony Blinken have not revealed anybody's name so far.
Okay, listeners, maybe you have the list from what we have. Feel free.
Let me say this. While I was in secondary school, during my West African Examination Council, which is also Ghanaian does the same thing.
Yeah, I wrote that as well.
You are going into the exam hall, there's already the expo outside, and then sometime by the time you're sitting down, the expo has turned to another expo, so you end up having 3 different expo, and if you're not careful and have not prepared well and you lie on this expo, by the time you sit on the table, you will now realize that the real original one is in the exam hall.
It's true. Back in Ghana we call it Apo. So people they've got Apo, and then some people, instead of them to go and study, they just concentrate, they go and then whew, it's not there, and then they go just cuckoos there. But listen, a Star Radio, as it says, good morning, brothers Kweki, and good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and the rest of the Star Radio team. Good morning to you, Aziz. We hope you are doing very well. Now, let's go to this story. It's quite troubling. Now, a Nigerian Major General on trial by a court-martial has narrated how ex-army chief Buratai, who is now the ambassador in Benin Republic, okay, granted 75% discount to Aisha Buhari's family and other VIPs to buy houses from army property firm. What justification and how true is that, Yomi?
Well, Nigeria is full of every day you wake up in Nigeria, and sometimes you look at the news and you want to either
listeners, just bear with us. Yes, okay, just bear with us. Okay, I think Yomi is sorted it out. Yeah, because we are broadcasting on various platforms, so there are others who want to be calling in and stuff like that.
So able to adjust that.
Yes, okay.
When we talk about corruption in Nigeria, corruption, goes a very long way to destroy an average Nigerian, because the money that is meant to be used for things up to the medical, the healthcare, end up not used properly, and that is not going to make a country to be up there when it comes to some of what we've been talking about for some time now. This particular story is not going to be the end in Nigeria. It's just going to be as many that we've talked about in the past. Remember that, Aisha Buhari, Najatsu told us that the younger brother, is the managing director of that on the Mint, which is where the Nigerian currency is printed. But this particular, headline that you've talked about says the Nigerian Major General on trial by the court martial. Who is those behind it? According to the report yesterday, that the Nigerian army are preventing journalists from covering the trial of the Major General Muhammad by the court martial, despite claiming that it was an open trial. So right there, it shows that the military is trying to cover the tracks, to protect some individuals' dignity or VIPs or those that have been, accused of allegation against, money that should have been used judiciary properly for the Nigerians and so on. As compared to what we saw here during the case of Ike Ikerimadu, we could see that the process went quickly, and Ike Ikerimadu was found guilty and he has to start, the term in the prison. But the ongoing trial of the Major General Muhammadu by the court martial in the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja seems to be something that the military do not want the media to cover that as well. But going on in Abuja, but for fraud and money laundering has now opened a fresh can of worms as the senior military officer is narrating how a former chief of army staff, General Buratai, that is currently the ambassador to Nigeria representing Benin Republic, seems to be in question about some of what happened in terms of ridiculous 75% discount. What was this money for? He actually allowed the sales of houses by the Nigerian Army Properties Limited to politicians and very important personalities at a ridiculous 75% discount. Muhammad is a former ally of Buratai who spent 5 years and 5 months in office, was the group managing director of this particular NAPL, known as the National Nigerian Army Properties Limited. Is this saying something out of the context of somebody that has, fallout with the former military chief of army staff, or is he saying something that needs to be verified? But it seems that is now going on as he has revealed this during the cross-examination, that the allocation of houses to civilians by NAPL followed directive from Buratai. Like I always say, Nigeria is just full of too much deceit, and also, as a lot of people think that things is going to change. Also, just going back to another headline, Buhari regime promised to restore livelihood of poor and vulnerable Nigerians. Buhari is going in the next almost less than 14 days, but the president has restated his commitment to restore the livelihood of the poor and the vulnerable Nigerians, and likewise obtain what we call food security. There's another headline: $1 trillion bribes paid, $2.6 trillion stolen in Nigeria and other nations, according to the Commonwealth. While we tend to think of corruption in a purely monetary terms, the truth is that it costs us the quality of our lives. No country or region or community is humane. So curbing $1 trillion cost of corruption more important than ever, the Commonwealth General Secretary is saying. So you can tell that the 8 years of the President Muhammadu Buhari has been shielded with corruption that is now coming out as his tenure is coming to end in the next 14 days.
What is going to happen? Well, it's so promising. But what do you think about all that? Omobulaji, good morning to you. He says that Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. Yoruba Nation is the only solution. We'll be coming to that because there's a statement that there's an issue that is going on there that we're going to be looking at. But what do you think about all the stories that we're talking about? 11:27 the time. Mr. Olayomi Kweken and North London Studios. I'm actually here in the South Studios. Now, Yomi, we're talking about, as Mobulaji had posted there, talking about Yoruba Nation. Now, we few times before, I think 2 years ago, thereabout, we were talking about Amatekon and then how it was. We thought that it was a good set that will be able to protect the Southwest. However, there is a story that is talking about a Amatekun operatives who have tortured a teenager to death over 500 naira in Ondo State. I bet you the locals will be so upset about this.
Well, Amatekun was set up, to curb, the insurgency, coming into the southwest side of Nigeria from Kwara State up to Lagos State. We know that Lagos State, refused to be participator of that particular Amatekun. Reason known to them, but we do know that, Oyo State was the backbone of Amatekun, and likewise Ondo State, where the governor Akeredolu was really pushing towards, making sure that its citizens, can live, in a peaceful way. But it's also sad that the news coming out from, Amatekun operatives killed an individual for the 500 naira is not something new to some of us, but it's just that, to those that are our listeners from different parts of the globe, 500 naira, for those that I probably not understand, as at yesterday, while I was sending a little bit of money back home, to support some of our, media colleagues that are operating on the ground, it cost 935 naira for a pound. So if you divide that, you're probably talking about 50p. So a life was taken away because of 50p. And this, again, we hope, the state governor, will do everything possibly best, to look into this so that we can still have that authenticity and the originality of that Amatekun, not fighting the people, but fighting, the corrupt, terrorism that is not allowing individuals to get into their farms.
Well, so that's where when it comes to, we talk about Yoruba Nation, we talk about the fact that we think that when we put it Yoruba Nation together, or as the IPOP or the Igbos will also say, oh, they have their own this, and then we say,
and this actually happened in one of the states that supported Amatekun. This took place in Ondo State, where the 14-year-old boy, identified as Ayomide Adegalahu, has been tortured to death by the operatives of the Ondo State Security Network Agency, more commonly known as Amatekun. It was learned that the teenager was tortured to death over 500 naira at the Ogbonkowo area of Odojumu in Ondo State in the southwest local government area. Ayomide was living with his stepmother, who was said to have gone on hawking cooked rice, but he was unable to give an account of a missing 500 naira from the sales. The stepmother, however, was said to be angered by the inability of the young boy to explain how the money got missing, decided to punish him to unravel the truth. According to the story, several punishments from the stepmother, the boy was then handed over to the operatives of the Amatekun, who then eventually tortured him. We know that in Nigeria there's a lot of torture, and it's not allowed here in UK. We've seen a lot of Africans that have been, where they have to face the social services, for beating their children. It's not really allowed here, even though some of us that have come into the country, I'm talking about the second generation or the third generation, have been battered in Nigeria. But the generation here, the fourth generation, if there's a slight inch of whatever on their body and they get to school, there will be questioned, and that question can lead to the social service. From the social service, the child can be removed. And I remember, the Aringe situation, where the young girl was eventually, killed, in that process. That changed the social service, situation then, which actually made a lot of impact. But eventually, as we know, we do not have that system in Nigeria. And I remember that some of us have traveled to help put in such policy. I'm not talking about from my own end, I'm talking about so many Nigerians that have traveled from different parts of the world. My younger sister returned back to Nigeria in 2010, to set up something that would have supported, those kind of policy in Lagos State. After frustration, she returned back to UK after 2 years, and down the line, somebody have just been killed. Well, not somebody, a minor, because that's a minor if you want to look at it in UK, because 14 years is still a minor. And eventually, this young minor have lost his life because of 50p in Ondo State today.
Wow. Very sad one. But I hope that the authorities see to rid their system of such evil ones. I mean, bad nuts. I'm not saying that everybody in Amaticon or Amaticon itself is bad. No. But there are bad nuts everywhere, and that's where we pray our leaders to rid them of that. Okay, Pastor Mo says, we continue to appreciate you, gentlemen. May our eyes not see evil in our lives. Nigeria is a place of evil. May the Lord shred Nigeria to pieces. Oh my God.
That was Victoria Kimberlin that I was trying to remember. The council condemned over the death of baby P and Victoria Kimberlin and really apologized, and they launched a serious case review after the 10-week-old girl was killed by the mother days after social workers allowed her to return home. And if only we have this kind of system in Nigeria, so many lives will be saved today. There was another one over the weekend where this young boy was beaten. Eventually those couples were picked up, and we've seen some that died in the process.
But I don't know whether our system will be able to see to that, because people who have been abused, house helps, the way they treat them, as if they are. Even here, dogs will not be treated that way, but that is how they treat them, and it's a very sad one. Pastor Mo says, poor boy, pain is everywhere in Nigeria. The crying emoji, Heavenly Father, please set your people free. Remember your word in Galatians chapter 5 verse 1. Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Mo. Listener, Starr Radio UK, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koike. Let me say good morning to Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama. Yes, he's soon going to be an MP or an ambassador, Ghanaian ambassador to the UK. That would be very good. Guys, what do you think? All right then. Okay, we'll go back to Yomi for the rest of the story that's making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, NYSC is one of the very important part of any Nigerian, especially if you have gone to the university or the polytechnic and you're coming out, you have to serve a 1-year program, to part of the way the country constitution says. So many Nigerians have got different experience. It was meant to also be where you can be posted to the northern part of Nigeria until so many people started manipulating it, and then if you get a posting to Jigawa and you look up to what is happening in Jigawa, you walk your way back to Lagos State or somewhere much closer. But it is actually celebrating the 50th anniversary. NYSC anniversary corpus provide cheap labor, improve elections integrity, says Jega. Jega was a one-time, INEC chairman before Mahmood. The young men and women have contributed to the Nigerian economy, providing the cheap labor and the national service. Ataru Jega, the former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the National Youth Service Corps, known as the NYSC, is one of the best schemes introduced by the military and should be sustained. The question is, we've seen them also as this NYSC manipulating result for the politicians, and also, some of them, during this election that just passed, were also handed with a lot of money that eventually turned things around. But Mr. Jagad also says that they've done a lot in the last 5 decades, and like I said, most of their posting to different schools around Nigeria have had impact, and they've also had negativity as well. But we talk about the the good aspect of it. So let's take more from some of the headlines that we have. Like we said earlier, $1 trillion bribes was paid, 2.6 trillion stolen in Nigeria. That is about almost $3.6 trillion. I mean, we're not talking about naira now. This is the amount, according to the Commonwealth, that have left the offshore of Nigeria. The current global pressure on the resources means curbing the $1 trillion cost of corruption is more important than ever. This is coming from the Commonwealth Secretary General, the Lieutenant Honorable Patricia Scotland Casey has said. He was speaking from Churchley today. The Secretary General called for swift and decisive action to curb the illicit flow of money out of the Commonwealth countries to build confidence that our institution and the system in the Commonwealth are corruption free. How do we do that when we continue to hear so much corruption that is still going on in Nigeria? The federal government at 37 minutes past 11 a.m. at exactly 16th day of May 2023, the federal government have now rejected the bill to halt doctors' migration. Imagine if I am a doctor and I have decided to leave Nigeria for a reason known to me, and there's a constitution or there's a law that says I can't. The federal government yesterday described as unworkable a bill currently being considered. Imagine this is what the National Assembly is thinking of, stopping Nigerians that want to make their way out of the country when the President Muhammadu Buhari is here in London receiving medical treatment, under his tooth. So you wonder, why then a bill is the proposer with everything happening in Nigeria today, when there should be bills to support, those that have been, those that have disability, those that have been tortured, like we just talked about today. But it seems that the Senate are much more interested to stop Nigerian, knowing fully well, like somebody like Ike Keremadu was going to spend about £80,000 at the Royal Free to get a medical treatment for the daughter, when he would have done similar thing to so many Nigerians that could not get dialysis in Nigeria because it's quite expensive. The Minister of Labour and Employment, the Senator Chris Ngige, revealed this while fielding questions from journalists after the extraordinary Federal Executive Council meeting that was presided over by the Vice President in the State House. So we're going to go straight and take one more, and then we go straight. Kidnapper attempted to shoot victims and kill gangs. We've talked about those coming into the country do not have proper record. Those that comes into Nigeria are coming through all the open and the porous border, as we know today. According to the story, the Kano State Police Command has arrested 3 suspected kidnappers: Idris Abdullahi, Tuka Yusuf, Iyasu Aminu, for attempting to kidnap a man and his son in Yarimawa Village, Tofa local government area of the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Muhammadu Usan Gume, who spoke to journalists today, said the kidnappers stormed the home of one Nasiru Yaya in an attempt, and this is what is happening. They storm into that area, picked up whoever they want to pick, and ransom get paid, and before you know, they are buying enough weapon. They're also using that, to terrorize Nigerians. So kudos to those that have been able to stop this kind of situation, and we hope more of these can be done to save as many lives as possible. So as we are getting ready to go to the social media, Shehu Kuti, the son of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, is spending the second night at the custody of the police, where the planned arrangement for him for slapping a police officer. The Lagos State Police Command yesterday has said that the Afrobeat musician Shehu Kuti will be taken to court for arrangement for assaulting a policeman on duty in Lagos on Saturday that was captured in a viral video that have gone around the world. The police public relation officer Benjamin Odoye, who turned himself on Monday, I'm talking about Shehu, was handcuffed, detained, and will spend the night in the custody. So Shehu Kuti is still in the custody. It will be arranged, but he also have his legal team saying that he has enough evidence that the officer that he actually slapped was a threat to his family in that particular vehicle. So we'll have to wait and see how that is all going to happen. As we were saying yesterday, finally it seems that cooking can sometimes bring joy, depending on what part of the world you are. So the young woman that was making these new world record, Hilda, marathon cooking has smashed world record, grabs global attention. Not a stranger to cooking competition, she was one time a Nigerian jollof queen. Hilda Efiongbasi smashed the Guinness World Record for the longest marathon cooking by an individual 2 years after emerging as the winner of the 2021 regional cooking competition, Jollof Face Off. Deborah wrote, at exactly 4 p.m. On the May 2023, as the clock tick-tock, Bassi turned on the kitchen cooker and the timer began to count, indicating the beginning of an attempt to make history. And exactly just yesterday, she was able to do around 87 hours 45 minutes, beating the previous record to the now what we call the Guinness Book of Record. And I've seen the presentation of that certificate to her in Nigeria, where We see if we can bring that onto the screen in just about a few minutes. As we go into the social media where Nigerians bat it up there, that is the only platform where Nigerians debate, discuss, argue, and sometimes it could be tense, sometimes it could be mild, depending on, the conversation on the table. But it seems as Hilda is coming out of the marathon, the reality continues to dawn again on Nigeria, because it seems that whenever something is going on in Nigeria, something comes in and then, it kind of changed the tempo a little bit. So as you can see there, that is her with the beautiful smile, with that, certificate, presented to her, and we wish her all the best from Starr Radio UK. So we go back now and look at some of what is trending as of today. Definitely, it seems, it's caused killed, properties worth millions of naira destroyed as again suspected terrorists attack community in Alogom, Magun local government area of Plateau State. And I could see a lot of women and children, running out of that particular community. These are the threat to human lives, and we hope, the security in Nigeria will do more to protect, especially the women and the children. These all happen towards the wee hours of today, 16th. And like I said, we can't show the video, but, I could see a lot of women and children, all running out of the community where Fulani terrorists have again attacked as well. So let's go again into some of the other headline as well, as we have it here. African Confidential. Nigeria is a dream killer that represents nothing but death and destruction to us, to you and us, a so-called Nigerian citizen. It is only beneficiaries were designed to be your politicians and their foreign partners in crime. As a victim of Nigeria, why in the world would you be praying for Nigeria? And also there, Simon Ekpa, tell Soludo, this Obiano in 2021 Biafra Heroes and Heroines Day, May 30, 2021, we are watching him. So he's actually saying that, the former governor did presented, a memorial for those that were killed during the Nigerian invasion of the Biafra land from 1967 for 3 years, where 5 million people were killed, massacred by the Nigerian government, as well in support of some of the foreign countries as well. Seun Kuti is trending at 52,000 this morning, while the BBC investigation is trending at about 100,000. As also Tinubu, well, it will continue to be the main topic each day, anytime, because since he's still the president-elect, even though we have to wait until after May 29, when he's officially given that mandate, but for now, he is still president-elect according to the INEC with his beautiful certificate. He's trending at almost 88,000. Let's look at why Tinubu is trending, and then we close it at exactly 11:45. Again, I would never call Bola Tinubu to congratulate him. That is Bode George. Remember, we talked about Bode George, where Tinubu and some are trying to settle the score between these two elder statesmen and Tinubu. But it seems Bode George says, I would never call Tinubu to congratulate him. Also, yesterday, a very sad news, a young man, 30 years old, killed the mother because of 20,000 naira in River State. River State is one of the highest IGR in Nigeria with a lot of crude oil. And you wonder why, these are Nigerians that should be supported, whether he's mentally unfit, he should be treated. But again, the mother died after the son killed her for 20,000 naira. Kennedy, Wandara say evidence suggests some result from Nigerian presidential poll may have been manipulated. Again, everybody referring to the BBC investigation there. So that is why Tinubu is trending this morning, and I'm going to come back again to you in the studio as we close you off from here. Starr Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we continue with the news, back to you in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi I keep bringing you updates from Nigeria, and as they say, the time now 11:47. I'm living in Ghana, right? 11:47 the time. But Yomi, a quick one. Bode George's reconciliation attempt by the APC. Why weren't they rather approaching Atiku?
Well, but George himself is not in good line with Atiku, so they're probably trying to hold him into their side. I mean, I don't know why, because, he's not a member of the APC. He was never a member. He has always been a PDP member. He disagreed with Atiku because Atiku could not remove the chairman then, and so many other governors as well. So there was a backfall, as the election was going in. Atiku had a really, really tough time, even though he was still able to meet up with as a second runner. If Peter Obi has not popped up, there might be a stiff election result because those that voted for Peter Obi would have divided their vote between Bola Tinubu and Atiku. But it seems that the obedient movement kicked in, and it seems that now they're still trying to see that they can get their result back with the court process. But we'll have to wait and see if all this is going to happen in the next 14 days.
But on the tribunal, what are the updates from there? When is the next sitting, and what have been the development from there?
Well, the tribunal is still a continuity. There's no update yet. We'll hopefully maybe by tomorrow we might have something. But what we do know that is the next sitting will be on the 17th and the 18th, which is tomorrow when Peter Obi comes back, and then Atiku comes back on the 18th. Remember that they've been there already, for the preliminaries to start up, but they've been given a few more days to come back again. So Peter Obi comes back tomorrow, the 17th, while Atiku is on the 18th, and then we'll have to see what's going to come out from there.
Okay. Listen, that's Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you. Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'll leave you again, as Archie takes you to the rest of the, news from different parts of the world, especially in different African countries. But for now, I'll say Starr Radio UK, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. As we say, from here, may Nigeria not happen to any one of us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. May Nigeria not happen to you. Okay, and to all you wonderful people who have listened to us, don't you worry. Tomorrow he's going to be on, once again, bringing you updates from Nigeria. Okay, we're going to be taking a musical break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. We're going to some part of Africa. We're going to Ghana as well. Well, some are calling the flag bearer of the NDC, that is the former president John Dramani Mahama, to be careful about the promises. And these are political experts who are saying that. So they're saying that, well, be careful about your promises this time around, former President Mahama. Is it because they are seeing that the current president came promising heaven and what? And earth? And then now people in Ghana are experiencing hell. Maybe they are not, depending on where you are standing. Maybe people are good. Lots of people are good, right? Yes, but majority of people are actually suffering. But let's enjoy this song. It is from Mickey Paris, and it says something inside so strong. I hope that if you are listening to us, you will not let your hope be broken by these political leaders who come in and just destroy everything that we have. That you will continue to prod on, as Felix will say, and some way, somehow, you get your destination, right? All right, then. Enjoy this tune, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Taller I become, the further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong.
side so strong, and I know that you can make it. As I'm also making it, we can all together make it. So wherever you are this morning, I don't want you to throw in the towel. I don't want you to give in or give up. Lord, the resilience of the spirit of man makes him go very far. I know you might be going through very, very challenging times. Yes, back in Nigeria, back in Ghana, and elsewhere you're listening to us from. But when you give up hope, that is when everything comes tumbling down. But as I do say all the time, once you have life, there is still hope for you. So wherever you are, thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us on Star Radio UK. I say it all the time, the program will not be void of lovely tunes there. That was from Mika Paris. A quick commercial break, and I bring you the rest of the stories making the rounds. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Okay, welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me take the opportunity to say good morning or good afternoon. Yes, so morning here in the UK to Pastor Annette Hercules. And they are inviting the Women to Women Ministry, are inviting everyone. Everyone is welcome. Say, oh, welcome. Yes, unpacking food labels and what they mean. How to read food labels in a rush. Wow. And then what is the traffic light system and how you can use it. Demystifying terms such as whole grain, whole foods, plant-based, low-fat, etc., etc. The event is taking place this Saturday, 20th of May 2023 at 1 p.m. The venue is the Fulham United Reformed Church, 472 to 480 Fulham Palace Road, London, SW6 6HY. Okay. The guest speaker is going to be Rebecca Harris, who holds a BSc in Global Nutrition and Health. Well, some say they are vegans, some say they are medium calories, low sugar, medium fat, high saturated fat, medium salt, and all that. What does that really mean? Because most of us just decide to say that, you know what, as for me, I will pray, or I will use my faith, and or as for me, I have to just eat my local food. So most of us do that, right? Okay, but there are some things that we need to know so that as you age, you don't get to a point where you become, because of what you have put in your mouth or entered into your body, you will get ill about that. Somebody say, well, things do happen. Somebody can just walk out and be knocked down by a vehicle, the person is died or whatever. But you don't want to have ill health. So as much as we can, we'll do our best to, live healthy, okay? And the rest, we leave it into the hands of God. But what about those who cannot even get the food to eat? What about them? You see how unfair the world is? Well. But it is all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in this morning to listen to us. Before I open the lines as well, this afternoon, BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business, and that is why at 12 o'clock, at 12:30, the program will be brought to a close and we prepare the grounds for her. We are celebrating Mental Health Week here in the UK, and today we're going to be bringing you something on that front. So mental health, are you suffering from it, whether you are here or it doesn't matter where you are listening to us from, you could be suffering from anything of the sort, but one of the experts will be telling you more about that. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't you go away. But let me announce the lines open. If you want to join in the conversation this morning, it's 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. Now, if you happen to be in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. 2737. You can also text or WhatsApp me. I promise you one thing for sure, I'm going to be reading that. Text number, WhatsApp number is 0753-966-1744. 0753-966-1744. Also, you can call us on the WhatsApp number, and I promise you one thing for sure, I'm gonna read that. Okay, so make sure that you join in. Don't sit on the fence. Get involved. Get involved. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. If you want to tweet, yes, our Twitter handle is at Starr Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. But I remain yours sincerely, your one and only
Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say order, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK. Now, what do you think about death penalties? Now, Amnesty International is saying that there's a glimmer of hope in African countries, especially fully abolishing death penalties in 2022. But let me bring you a bit on that front. Now, recorded execution worldwide reached 883 last year, the highest level since 2017, according to an Amnesty International report published on Tuesday that decried the Middle East and North Africa in particular. In 2022, figure for 20 countries known to have executed people is a 53% increase on the previous 12 months, the Global Rights Monitor said. It excludes thousands of prisoners put to death secretively in China, but does count the staggering 81 people executed in a single day in Saudi Arabia. It added, China was believed to have led the way in the grisly ranking ahead of Iran's 576 executions. Now, Saudi Arabia, 196, its highest number in 30 years, and Egypt, 24, in the United States, 18. Now, the death penalty is also used extensively in North Korea and Vietnam, but as with China, figures there remain shrouded in secrecy, Amnesty said in an annual report. The countries in the Middle East and North Africa were guilty of state-sanctioned killing sprees, with executions notably surging in Saudi, Iran, and Egypt, is said. Now, what do you think? Do you think that we are able, or killing or capital punishment brings down people breaking the law or offending? That's it. And especially when we see situations where people who were falsely accused and maybe might have been sentenced, so it wasn't, they didn't perpetrate the act, and years after we found out that, whoa, so it wasn't this one, so let's let that person go. Can you just imagine if capital punishment was taking place and we killed that person? What do? We can't bring the person back to life. So somebody will say it's a good move. However, is it how do we put things in place to serve as a deterrent so that people will not continue to perpetrate such evil deeds that end them up in that place? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Italy is lauding Tunisia's effort to curb illegal migration. Well, Italian Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi praised Tunisia's effort to curb the flow of migrants attempting to cross the sea to reach Italy. But the statement that President Said did make at a time pertaining to black Africans, saying that they are criminals and stuff like that, like what our Home Secretary here keeps on saying, that those who are crossing the channel and coming to the UK are all criminals, calling them criminals. Now, are they the criminals, or they are the victims of what people have done? Individuals, states have done, countries have done. What do you think about all that? Well, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. And Tunisia's opposition leader Ghannouchi is sentenced to a year in prison. And I bet you that is the end of his chance to become president or a contender. A Tunisian court on Monday, May 15, reportedly sentenced one of the main opponents of Tunisia's president to 1 year in prison on terrorism-related charges. It's finished. Now, Rashid Ghannouchi was also fined the sum of $300. The leader of the Islamist-inspired party and had appeared in court at the end of February on the terror-related charges. However, according to Coalition, which includes his party, the 81-year-old later refused to appear again before the criminal division, considering that the case was fabricated and has no basis in reality and law. A police union had filed a complaint accusing the politician of incitement and of calling police officers tyrants. The opposition coalition National Salvation Front denounced a ruling showing that arbitrariness had replaced the law in public life and that no critic, regardless of their position or affiliation, is safe from having their freedom confiscated and being thrown into prison, he said. All right then. So it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on to Ghana as well. 6 minutes past the top of the hour. Now hasten slowly with your promises. That is a word of caution or advice to the flag bearer of the biggest opposition party in Ghana, that's the NDC. The political communications lecturer at the UNIMAG, GIG, Dr. Paul Ezua, is urging the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, to hasten slowly with the promises he's making in the lead up to the 2024 election. The former president is in his victory speech, typo there, on Monday, reiterated a litany of promises he says he wants Ghanaians to hold him to if they vote him to become president in 2025. Mr. Mahama, among others, promised to run the leanest but most efficient government under the Fourth Republic by appointing not more than 60 ministers and deputy ministers, work to abolish the payment of ex gratia and cut out waste and ostentation in government. He also promised to give anti-corruption states institutions unfettered space to operate. The days of the clearing agent must come to an end on January 7, 2025. Now speaking, Dr. Paul Ezua said, even though this is to be expected in political season, John Mahama should hasten slowly, given a recent history of unfulfilled promises. So who is he trying to infer to here? Now looking at how he spoke about the whole thing in a quote, he said, it is good, but let us be mindful that we are in Ghana, where we have in the past had promises being made everywhere and very little is fulfilled. So for me, I will advise that he'll hasten slowly as far as promises are concerned, because we have the benefit of hindsight and we also know what has happened before, even in the NDC and the NPP. That's what they say. The electorate in Ghana do not really fancy promises. They want the work to be done for them to see that the right thing is being done. So on one hand, I will say that it is good, but he should tone down a bit on the promises, because if he doesn't fulfill it, it will be counterproductive as far as the 2024 election is concerned. Well, what will be important is for him to get to their place first. But as the then candidate Akufo-Addo was campaigning, where he was saying that, well, they've got the men and everything that we're going to do, saying to everything, and then we ended up seeing what we are seeing now, and now the country finding itself in that economic downturns, and the magnitude, the number of appointees in the presidency and everything, and the fact that, well, the scarce resources or financial resources of the country just being dissipated or wantonly or as they will say jantually being just siphoned and just wasted. What do you think? Does he have to make a promise? Yes, someone will say you cannot go to elections without making promises, but he's saying that he should haste slowly. So what do you think about the promises that is made here? Appointing about 60 ministers and deputies. Is it 60 or in total 60? Some of us have been saying that there is no need to appoint a regional. Now we have a regional minister. There's no need to appoint a deputy regional minister. The administration is there. Let them work on the other stuff. Maybe he's looking at all those things, but would they allow it? And especially when it talks about the ex gratia, payment of ex gratia, where he's thinking that is a carton of waste. How is it going to pan out? But well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, over the weekend when they went for the internal elections, where members of the party were appointed who were vying for various positions, especially to be MPs in various regions and stuff like that, they throw in their towels or their hats into the ring. Not their towels, they threw their hats into the ring and were nominated, or those who were also were disqualified to run or were not nominated have now got into a place. Now my question is, with everything that has happened so far, is the NDC one? Are they united, or it's going to take a bit of time? Because we talk about Dr. Dufour, who said due to the fact that he wasn't given the appropriate list or folder or file of the voters of the those who were going to vote at the primaries, because of that he had to withdraw. Do you think that was what gave President Mahama 98.8%? Or if he had run, maybe that will reduce President Mahama's majority or percentage there. Now the other question that I was asking is, with what has happened, what is going to be the pairing? Is President Mahama going to go with his then running mate, that Professor Nana Opoku Ajimai? Is that her? Yeah, is he going to be running with her again, or is he going to now look at it and say, okay, let me get Dr. Dufour to be my running mate? Would that appease them? Are they now putting their differences aside and saying that let's move on? Is that what is going to happen? Well. It's all Starr Radio UK. It's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But there's supposed to be a by-election, and Stephen Team has stormed Kumawu for a by-election there. The national chairman of the governing New Patriotic Party, Stephen Team, has arrived in Kumawu in the Ashanti region ahead of the by-election in that constituency slated for May 23. Now, Chairman Intim is the first visiting chiefs and elders of the community as custom demands, and will subsequently embark on a house-to-house campaign with the regional chairman. Now, Bernard Nchibo Siakon, aka Chairman Wontumi, and the constituency executives. He will further meet members of the various communities at various areas to campaign for the MPP candidate NS Yao Enim. The arrival of the national chairman in the constituency has galvanized the grassroots of the party, and who are poised to campaign vigorously to ensure that the party retains parliamentary seat. Now, other national executives with him include Dr. Dankwa Smith and all the others. Okay, but my question is, who is flying the flag for the other parties? Who are flying the flags, and who is flying the flag, especially for the NDC? And with everything that is happening in the country, the difficulties that people are facing, do you think they're going to vote as per as the then candidate Kufuor said, say Shwa Sitinemu Nato Abapa? Now look at your prevailing circumstances, economic circumstances, or whatever you're going through, and then based on that vote, is that what they're going to do there? And would that be what an example of what's going to happen in 2024? a pace setter for the 2024 general elections, or this is too one that we have to say that it's nothing to write home about. It's in one of their strongholds, and therefore, but are Ghanaians actually objective when it comes to politics? Where you're going to vote, and you know that I'm not voting, but I'm looking at how politics and stuff that have been put across by the party or the achievements, and based on that vote. What do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then, 12:14. One other story from Ghana, and then we'll move on. Well, as I did say, Rashid Pelpo has said, let's work for 2024 victory. My victory is for Wa Central. That's what he said there. The Member of Parliament for the Wa Central, Dr. Rashid Hassan Pelpo, okay, is urging party cohesion in his constituency and in the Upper West region as a whole, addressing his party supporters in a popular Wa-based radio station after winning the parliamentary primaries. Mr. Pelpo stated that since the primaries are over, it is time for the party to unite and work to defeat the MPP. The Upper West Caucus leader in Parliament, in his sixth attempt to lead the NDC in Wa Central, called on his followers to therefore refrain from any kind of social media banter and focus on helping the NDC to regain power in 2024. After the election, he said he made contact with each contestant and invited them to join him in the effort to prepare for the year 2024. Well, an olive branch has been stretched or passed on to them, so I think it's something that they gotta do, come together, because a divided front, I bet you wouldn't go far. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story, okay, and then we go to the UK. Now, the Asante-Hene is leading Otunfo the second. Last night they held discussions with the leadership of the British Museum about regalia items taken from the Ashanti, particularly after the Battle of Amofo or the Ashanti War in 1874 with the British. As part of his working visit to London, he also requested areas of contemporary cultural cooperation in the management and technical assistance with the Manchia Palace Museum. The museum director, the German art historian Dr. Hardwick Fisher, the deputy director Dr. Jonathan Williams, and the head of the African department and curator Sam Nixon and Julie Hudson welcomed the Asante-Hene, who later explained that the Manchia Museum, which is undergoing major restructuring and expansion, is a living one and profit making. It needed, like all major museums, other collections to occasionally strengthen patronage and growth. This, he said, was notwithstanding the laws of antiquity in Britain, even as long-time negotiations continued. Dr. Fisher, who led the British Museum team in discussions, described the visit as an august one that will work together towards the Asante-Hene's wishes through the structured laws. A previous MOU will be reviewed on the time of the loaning of items for the Asante-Hene's Silver Jubilee in Kumasi next year. Is it that when they will take it and then they will do like, which country did that? They said, okay, bring it, we want to just exhibit it, and they sent it to them and then push. They didn't bring it back. They said it's ours, we've taken it. I think something to do, is it Italy or is it one from Rome or Greece? Okay, one of them. Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 12 minutes to the end of the program, but it's 18 minutes past 12. That means that, as I'm saying, at 12:30 we'll bring the program to a close, so that we can prepare the ground for BB Clement, who is coming in today. And today we're looking nothing but mental health. So stay tuned and don't you go away. Moving on straight to the UK front. Well, tourist donor linked to massive money laundering probe. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me bring you that. A top businessman whose foreign companies were part of a global money laundering investigation is a major donor to the Conservative Party. Javed Marandi, who has an OBE for business and philanthropy, can be named after losing a 19-month legal battle with the BBC to remain anonymous. Let me say, Marandi strongly denies wrongdoing and isn't subject to criminal. Is not subject to criminal sanction. The judgment against him is a milestone for freedom of the press amid growing privacy laws in the court. A spokesman for the businessman said Mr. Marandi is deeply disappointed at the court's decision to lift reporting restrictions, knowing the reputational damage that is likely to follow. A National Crime Agency investigation found some of Mr. Marandi's overseas interests had played a key role in an elaborate money laundering scheme involving one of Azerbaijan's richest oligarchs. In January 2022, a judge ruled the NCA could seize $5.6 million, that is $7 million, from the London-based family of Javanshir Fayezyev, a member of Azerbaijan's parliament. Well, the British bank accounts received cash that had been removed from Azerbaijan in what the judge said had been a significant money laundering scheme. The family have denied that allegation, and at the outset of the hearing in October 2021, Mr. Marandi was granted anonymity in court. Now, High Court judge have ruled that Mr. Marandi can be identified because he had been a person of importance in the NCA case. Well, he's got the money. He got the money, flaunt it, and people will run to it. So, but that make any difference? It's a reputational damage. All right then, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. A long-awaited report has strongly criticized the FBI's handling of its investigation into alleged ties between Russia and the 2016 Trump campaign. In a 306-page report, Special Counsel John Durham said the agency's inquiry lacked analytical rigor. He concluded the FBI had not possessed evidence of collusion between Donald Trump's campaign and Russia before launching an inquiry. The FBI said it had addressed the issues highlighted in the report. In the report, Mr. Durham, who was appointed by the Attorney General William Barr in 2019, accused the FBI of acting on raw, unanalyzed, and uncorroborated intelligence. Among the investigative mistakes it made were repeated instances of confirmation bias, in which it ignored information that undercut the initial premise of the investigation. The report noted significant differences in the way the FBI had handled the Trump investigation when compared with other potentially sensitive inquiries, such as those involving his 2016 electoral rival Hillary Clinton. Now, Mr. Durham noted that Mrs. Clinton and others had received defensive briefing from the FBI aimed at those who may be targets of nefarious activities by foreign powers. Mr. Trump had not. The Department of Justice and the FBI failed to uphold their important mission of strict fidelity to the law, the report concluded. In a statement, the FBI said it had already implemented dozens of corrective actions. Now, had those reforms been in place in 2016, the missteps identified in the report could have been prevented, the statement said. So, coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Still in the US, President Trump's lawyer, Donald Trump's former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is being sued for sexual harassment by a former employee. Now, Nolly Dunphy alleges in the $10 million civil case that he coerced her into sex acts and launched into alcohol-drenched and racist rants at work. The lawsuit claims he exposed himself, took Viagra constantly, and told Ms. Dunphy, satisfying his sexual demands was a job requirement. My goodness, I hope that that's not true. Now, Mr. Giuliani vehemently denied allegations through a spokesperson. Now, Ms. Dunphy, who says she was hired by Mr. Giuliani's firm in 2019 when he was working as Mr. Trump's personal lawyer, filed a legal case in New York State on Monday. The lawsuit, which set out her allegation in graphic detail, says Mr. Giuliani began to abuse her almost immediately after she was hired. It says the former New York City mayor coerced Ms. Dunphy into giving him oral sex against her will in his flat. Now, it also claims Mr. Giuliani often demanded that she work, oh my goodness, naked in the bikini, or in shorts with an American flag on them that he bought for her and would visibly touch himself. Okay, let me leave those details there. But is it true that Mr. Giuliani might have perpetrated that, or is it a ploy to get them all down? So a couple of weeks ago, we had Trump's case and the ruling that came that found him guilty, but falls short of saying that he had raped that lady, Trump's one, and now we have another one coming through. But is it a consensual adult, whatever they want to call themselves, and now it has gone sour, and therefore this woman is now on the verge of actually damaging Rudy Giuliani's character? What do you think about all that? This is coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me see whether I can touch on one other story before we bring the program to a close. Okay, dozens of women have been held in Maharashtra after Islamic State film Rao. Now, over 100 people have been arrested in the western Indian state of Maharashtra after one person died and 8 others were injured in communal clashes. Reports say the violence which took place in Akola city was triggered by a social media post on a controversial film, The Kerala Story. Authorities cut internet services and imposed a curfew to bring the situation under control. A female constable was among those who were injured in the clashes. Now, police said the violence first began on Saturday when members of the community gathered outside a police station in Akola to protest against a social media post about the film. Report says it was screenshot of a conversation between two residents which was shared on Instagram by one of them. A police official told the Indian Express newspaper that some messages in the chat hurt the religious sentiment of other persons but did not give any details. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's office appealed for peace and instructed the state police to take strict action against those who participated in the violence there. Okay, this is coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and bringing the time to virtually 12:28, where I'm going to be bringing the program to a close. As I did say, we have to prepare the grounds for BB Clement. Okay, now 5 men have been convicted of jewel theft. Now 5 men convicted of audacious 2019 heist, and it says the 5 men have been found guilty of an audacious jewel heist in the German city of Dresden. The thieves stole precious items worth 113 million euros from the city State Museum in 2019. Now, police recovered many of the jewels, including a diamond encrusted sword, but it's feared the rest of the looted treasures may never be found. The men, all members of a notorious criminal family network, faced sentences of 4 to 6 years. This was meticulously planned heist. The gang, who lived in Berlin, visited the site several times and prepared their entry point in advance using a hydraulic cutting machines to saw through the bars of protective windows covering before taping them back into place. Then, in the early hours of the morning of the 25th of November 2019, they set fire to the circuit breaker panel near the museum, plunging the surrounding streets into darkness, while two of them, the men, slipped inside. The CCTV footage captured the thieves wearing masks and wielding axes as they entered the sumptuously decorated green vault and smashed the glass display cases to get their treasure. The thieves then sprayed a foam fire extinguisher over the room to cover their tracks before making their getaway in an Aldi, which they then dumped in a car park, setting fire to the vehicle before they fled to Berlin. After a year-long investigation, police made their first arrest. All of those convicted today are members of the so-called Remo clan. There are several clans in Germany, family networks with Arab roots responsible for major organized crime, including in recent years a raid on a department store and a bank robbery. One of Dresden thieves was previously convicted of the theft of a giant gold coin, which weighed 100 kilograms from Berlin Mode Museum in 2017. The coin was never recovered and is believed to have been broken up or melted down. My goodness. Well, listen at this while I bring the program to a close for today. And I want to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for tuning in to listen to us. But don't you go away this afternoon exactly at 1:30. Okay, in an hour, we're going to be having BB Clement coming your way with BB Means Business. And today we are looking at mental health. And it's a mental health week in the UK. So stay tuned. Don't you go away. But enjoy this tune whilst I sign up. And then we will bring you BB Means Business in the next few moments. Stay tuned. And until I come your way tomorrow, once again, I say it's been me, Archie. Have a blessed day. And bye-bye for now.